Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are back with best-selling author and brand expert, Ella Parlor. Thanks for joining us, Ella.
Hi, I'm so happy to be back.
We are so happy to have you back. And today, I want to discuss with you how to build and sell your personal brand. So, Ella, tell us, what can putting your face on the cover of your book do for your personal brand?
Oh my goodness. I will say first and foremost that you I was told that unless you're Prince Harry or Viola Davis, you really shouldn't be putting your face on the cover of a book because it kind of is a dead giveaway that you're new to the publishing world. You really want some type of fun graphic. If you look at all the top bestsellers, again, aside from the big name celebrities, they're going to have a graphic of a model or someone else. An author typically does not put their face in the center of a cover, such as I did. If I can be a little personal and honest, my thought was, all right, if this book doesn't sell, at least my friends will buy it and they'll put it on their coffee table. And maybe it could be a dating recruiting tool to find my husband. And they could just tell people, this is my friend Ella. This is a book she wrote. You should marry her.
I love
That was
that.
my thought. So I that's why I decided to put my face on the cover, which was a little bit of a risk. I will say that I am sick of looking at that cover. It's beautiful. I'm so grateful for it, but it's hard for me to look at my face all of the time. I've really had to struggle a little bit with like book signings, and I'm sitting there with my own face right next to my face. It just feels like a lot of face.
Staring back at
So
you.
yeah, and then if I have the book in my house, it feels like I just have a picture of myself, and it just feels so self-aggrandizing. And I will be frank, I didn't really anticipate that side of like, wow, it's my face over and over and over again. But it was important to me to have my face on the cover, not just as a husband recruitment tool, but because I really wanted a throwback to the iconic alcohol advertisements of the 1950s. I wanted to do an ode to that, and who better than someone who's been in advertising for so long. So I will say that whether we like it or not, our face is our first impression in any circumstance. That's
Mm,
unless you're DJ Marshmallow, Mellow, or Sia, right? Some of these artists who hide behind a persona, the rest of us are face forward. You can't think of Virgin without thinking of Richard Branson. You can't think of Tesla without thinking of Elon Musk. And
right.
similarly, more than ever, consumers want to know the face behind whatever brand it is. And so it is really important that as you make the decision to put your face on the cover, which again, some authors do, I would say it's a bold move, but it really is leaning into the fact that I am my personal brand and my business is a part of that.
How do you balance authenticity and marketability?
Oh, yeah. I always say that as long as you're authentic in whatever your message is, you don't have to worry about aging well or being canceled or all of this aftermath of whatever future generations might think about who you are today. If you have enough self awareness to not just go with the tides, not just go with the trends, but really do a gut check on where are my values? I think a lot of times that we forget when it comes to personal branding, when it comes to our brand story, and when it comes to our authenticity, we have to bring it back to what is our mission? Why am I creating what I'm creating? And what values am I going to keep at the forefront of all of the work I do? And so when you have those values, it's really easy to be authentic because you immediately know what's for you, what's against you, and what's not really for you. And I think
Right.
that having having a resolve about these are my values, like that's where you're able to be authentic. My one of my biggest values is balance and inclusion. I love including all types of people. And so I can be authentic when I'm including people. It's when I'm
Right.
acting like I'm exclusive or trying to be elusive, that's off brand, that's not authentic. And so I think that that's a really great way to know, okay, what is my authentic voice? You got to sit down and really think to yourself, why do I do what I do and what are my values?
Yeah, that's a great point. I would wholeheartedly agree. And what would you say are the online platforms that best showcase that? Your authenticity, your expertise, your personality.
Are you referring to me, Ella Parlor, or in general for
You,
all
and
authors?
then, what you and then what would you recommend? So, for you writing a memoir, about what you wrote it about, and then, what would you recommend for authors that are looking to do this similar thing?
Um, when it comes to your brand authentic voice, I would say when we're talking about digital marketing, so I'm just going to look at the major channels. That's going to be Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We'll just leave it to those 5 channels. Those are all very separate channels, and they're very different target audiences. Yes, your target audience is probably on all 5, but they go to all 5 for different reasons. And so what you might post on Facebook is not the same as what you might post on your LinkedIn. And what you put on your YouTube channel might not be the same as what you're posting on your Instagram. Part of that is going to be format. So, understanding the channel on which you want to sit is really going to be contingent on knowing where does your target audience sit? Where are they spending their time? Are they scrolling through social media or are they spending their time listening to educational podcasts? This is where you'll know where to spend your time. And then within that vertical, what you can do is identify what was the purpose of this channel when it was originally made, and how do my values, my message, my products align with whatever that original intention of this channel creation was. And so knowing and understanding, well, Facebook was made for connectivity. Those are going to be more personal stories. Those are going to be deeply personal stories at times. But those deeply personal stories aren't really appropriate for a channel such as LinkedIn, which was made to be a professional networking site in the
Mm.
pursuit of career and business and finance. And so I think reverse engineering it, not just thinking of what's my message, where does it go, reverse engineering it to target it to your audience. It's where is my audience and how can I find them?
And how, as an author, Ella, would you say that I could continually evolve and adapt my brand as I grow and continue my journey?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I will say, at the risk of sounding a little trendy right now, lean into AI. I cannot express that there are so many tools that can help you not only build your brand, but activate your brand. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the building of our brand. What are going to be my brand colors? What's my ethos? What's my vibe? What's my
Mm.
website? Okay, that aside, how are we going to activate your brand? Which means bring your brand to life in various aspects of life and business and channels. And so really knowing that, okay, if I'm going to pick this branding, if you want to be a travel blogger, for example, and you're writing travel oriented books, then making sure that whatever you're creating is in alignment with the travel space. And a really great way to research that is going to be leveraging various AI tools. And there are hundreds of AI tools out there to alleviate the time, stress, energy of constantly creating content, ideas, products even. And so really leaning into AI is a great way to keep a competitive edge and then also be on the cutting edge side of personal branding, writing your book and so forth. There's really very little to lose when you start to learn and dive more deeply into artificial intelligence.
And the last question I have for you, Ella, on the topic of just building and selling your personal brand would be, how can I, as an author, get more reviews for my book? And what power do reviews really contribute to my brand?
Ooh, I'm going to answer the second part first because reviews are social proof. They are capital, they are king, they are amazing, and that's why they're kind of hard to get. Reviews are exactly what your customer is going to be looking at when they decide to buy your book or bring in your book. So you have to remember your customer isn't just the person buying the book. Your customer is going to be whoever is distributing your book. So that could be Amazon, Barnes and Noble, or thousands of independent stores across the world, really. And so when you look at whoever is distributing your book, you want to appeal. The first thing they're going to look at is social proof of your book's capabilities and sellability is going to be the reviews.
Mm,
There are several ways to get reviews. I will say I don't have nearly as many reviews as I wish I had at this point. I'm somewhere, in the 30s, I believe, and I'm always trying to get a couple more. But I will say a couple ways that you can get ahead of it is if you haven't published your book already, shamelessly ask. I have it on the very last page of my book, last page with writing. If this book spoke to you, please go to Amazon and add a review. So
mm.
just a call to action in your book saying, hey, because it's just a fact we need that social proof to keep the momentum for our book. So I would say that's the first thing you can do. If you've already written your book, there are several ways. You can put an event together, either a virtual event or an in-person event. I have my Amazon review link on my website right under my book's availability. So it's like buy on Amazon, rate on Amazon. I have that right there. Doesn't have to be Amazon, by the way. There are several distributors. I'm just picking on Amazon because they're a big book distributor.
Right.
Um, and I think so putting together an event where there's some type of incentive. For me, I put together an event for my closest friends and family, and I had prizes. I was like, hey guys, would love to hear what you think about the book. First person to write a review will get $50. And so it was kind of this like fun game where my friends were racing to screenshot their review into the chat to be able to win the $50 prize. So you could also do a sweepstakes. And then I would say again, just in the note of authenticity, saying, my goal is to get honest feedback about my book. And if you can be a part of that, I really appreciate it. And that's where that call to action comes in. So putting it on your social media, putting it on your website, anywhere you can create that CTA call to action. Definitely, sometimes we aren't aware of how important the review process is for authors.
That's great. And that actually made me think of one more thing. What would you say is the best way to make money through building a personal brand?
The best way to make money. Well, I always say not all money is good money. So the best way to make money is when you're serving people. I think
Mhm.
that as long as you're serving your target audience, whether it's through educating them, adding value to their lives, empowering them, motivating them, creating a product that makes their life easier, whatever it is that you're doing to monetize your work, you want to make sure that it is in the pursuit of serving a greater good. I think it's futile to have a product that is just a clickbait, we'll call it, and then you're just making money off of some quick high and low, but you haven't really added value to your target audience's life.
Mm.
And so rather than focusing on the monetization tactics, because there are quite literally millions of ways to make money and lots of money. There isn't one path to financial success. But what I will say the best way will always be is making sure that serving your target consumer and sticking to your values is the best way to get there.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into today's interview with bestselling author and branding expert, Ella Parlor. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.